Ark is full of ferocious creatures, many of which are used in boss fights and raids. There are ways to make these more powerful, such as leveling, but there is another way, another mechanic, that can help. Yeah, it's alright, it's Pika here, and let's get into mutations. If you're asking what the hell a mutation is, you're probably new. Welcome to Ark Survival Evolved. This game sometimes feels like work. But anyways, in Ark, a mutation is a change in color and stats compared to the parents. Changes in color may not be shown because of that color region not showing up on the creature on any way. Something to be wary about is to not keep a mutated dino before having your base dinos, regardless of that stat boost. And also, a quick mention, you should not keep any movement speed mutations, as it won't show up, and it also won't even make a difference, so they are wasted stat boosts. You should tame a lot of that one creature that you're going to mutate so that you can get the best stats that you possibly can. These 3 dinos contain stats higher than the others, which means we're going to have to keep them and dump the rest. Now, I don't care whatever you do to it, dispose them, unclaim them, do anything you want. After all of that, you're going to want to breed them to create the base dino. This dino will have the stamina, the health, and the damage that all 3 of the dinos did, and make it to a T so that every single dinosaur has the same stats. This will preferably be a female and a male so that you can get a breeding pair. The previously mentioned breeding pair will be making a bunch of other base dinos, all female, so that it can mate with the male. A sad truth is that you're probably gonna murder a bunch of baby Rexes because they don't even either have the right mutation or a mutation at all. And the bright side, if you have no morals, they're pretty good for XP for yourself and dinos. Woohoo! You got your first mutation. The M in that stands for, obviously, mutation. And the good thing is that this one is a male. This will make it so that he can breed with all the females at once. Which is also sort of screwed up because one of those females is probably his mother. Don't think about that too much. You may be asking, how can I identify one of these mutations? Well, first of all, it adds 2 points into one stat. It also makes it so that the level is 2 points higher. Also, colors will be different, but that's not always a reliable method. As I previously said, you're going to have to replace the first mutation male with the base male. Stash him away, because the base male will be useful way later if something happens by accident. The base male will also be your bread and butter for the other chains of mutations. You also shouldn't mix 2 different mutations into the same chain. You'll add those in another chain and will make them stronger. Lucky you, you got another mutation on that same stat, and it's also a male. Congrats. Now do the same thing you did with the base male and the first mutation male. Now that you swapped out the first mutation male with the second mutation male, you should probably store it, as you can now see your progress. Congrats, you got the 3rd mutation. Sadly, it's a female. Don't worry though, you're going to be able to change it to a male. First, you're going to need the base male that I told you to store, and the 3 mutation female. Now I'm asking you to please not think of the implications of these 2 dinos breeding. Once they breed, they'll create a bunch of dinos until you find the 3 mutation male. I think you now get the gist. Get a new mutation, replace the old one with the new one. Well, now let's go to 20 mutations. The reason why we're going to 20 mutations is because if you check the mutation counter, it'll tell you that 20 out of 20 is the limit of one side. However, that does not mean that 40 mutations is the limit on a dinosaur. As you can see in the patrilineal side, you'll see that it says 20 out of 20. This means that in this side, it cannot be further mutated. However, in the other, it can. Provided you use the strategy that I showed, the mutation that was gained beforehand will go to the patrilineal side, or whatever side has the max mutations. Therefore, technically getting the limit of 255 points into a stat before, it just absolutely just destroys the game. Should you go over 20 mutations in one stat? Probably not, unless you're trying to make a super awesome dino that can one-shot every single boss in the game or something. Even though it's not really possible, but You can do it, I guess. It's also important to note that once one side it has 20 mutations, your chances are halved for a mutation because one of the sides are not available for a mutation. So, good luck with that if you're trying to do that. Let's say that you're done with that other chain of mutations and you want to do a new one for a new stat. You're going to want to combine these stats, but how do you do that? You're going to want to have both the last dinos that had the last mutations on that line. So in our case, it's the 20 health mutations and the 20 melee mutations. These two will have to breed, and eventually will create an offspring with both 20 melee mutations and the 20 health mutations. But what happens if both dinos are the same gender? For starters, you're going to want the opposite gender-based dino of the one that you have at the moment, and then breed them to be the opposite gender but still have the 20 mutations. If you've made it this far into the video, which it's the end, you probably like ARC content, or maybe just like my content. If you do any of those, please subscribe. It practically takes nothing, and I appreciate it. Like a video. If you don't, don't. I don't really care. Well, brush your teeth and wear your mask or something. Goodbye.